I'm going to do something different today, and I'm going to read a story. It's not Dr. Seuss, but I think it's pretty timely, and it's called The Emperor's New Clothes. Once upon a time, there was a very proud emperor who loved the finest clothes. As soon as he woke each morning, he thought only of what he would wear that day. "Good morning, your highness," his minister would say. "Your people need better houses, food, and schools. Will you help them?" "Never mind about all that," said the emperor. "How do I look in this?" One day, two men, visited the city pretending to be weavers. And they had pictures of the most beautiful fabric. "Our cloth is the best in all the world," they boasted. "We have the finest silks and satins and the most beautiful patterns. But our best cloth is only for emperors and for kings. It is so fine that only the cleverest people are able to see it." The emperor heard about these men. "I must have a suit made out of this cloth," he thought. "Not only will it make me look even more beautiful, but anyone who isn't smart enough to see the cloth will not be fit to work for me." So he approached the men with a large bag of money from the taxpayers, a large bag of money, and he set them to work. "We need lots of silks, gold, and satin," they explained. "We have to make our special cloth from them." The emperor gave them everything they asked for, but they sold it all at the marketplace and put it in their pocket and just pretended to work on the empty loom. The emperor was impatient to know how his wonderful suit was coming, so he sent his minister to find out. "Welcome, sir," said the weavers. "Come back and look at these beautiful patterns." The journalist minister peered at the loom. "Oh no," he thought, "I can't see anything. I must be too stupid. But if I pretend I can see the cloth, maybe I can keep my job." So the minister pretended to see the fabric, and he told the weavers how beautiful it was and how pleased the emperor, his editor, would be. Back at the palace, the minister pretended that he had seen the cloth, and he described it in the finest detail. The emperor was very excited. "I can just imagine it," he exclaimed. "I will be the smartest emperor in the whole world, and everyone will admire me." The emperor became more and more impatient to find out how his suit was progressing, so he sent his butler to ask. The butler couldn't see anything either, but like the minister before him, he went back to the emperor with a sparkling description of how fair and lovely it was. The emperor was now a little bit confused, because the outfit his butler described seemed very different than the one he had read about in the New York Times, but not the one that his minister had seen. But he was too excited about how wonderful he would look to care about that very much. At last the emperor could bear it no longer. The night before the procession, he went to see the suit for himself, and he was horrified to see the weavers working hard on an empty loom. "I must pretend I can see the cloth," he thought. "I cannot let my people think that I'm stupid." So he peered and he prodded some more and smiled. "This is exquisite," he declared. "Fit for an emperor, fit even for me." That night, the two weavers pretended to work endlessly on the loom. They appeared to take the cloth off the loom, to cut it with big scissors, and sew it with needles in which there was no thread. The next morning, they brought the imaginary suit to the emperor. "Here are the trousers, and here's the jacket, and here's the cloak." He pretended to hold them up for his approval. "They're so light and fine," the emperor agreed. "It's almost as if they weren't there." "I must get dressed," exclaimed the emperor. "Soon it will be time for the procession, and I will show my people just how grand and important I am." He took off his nightgown and put on his imaginary clothes one by one, and he looked at himself in the mirror from every angle. Truly, everyone agreed, this is a suit fit for the finest emperor in the world. Everyone in the city had heard about the emperor's new suit and came to the rose garden to see the victory lap. They came to see the procession. Of course, the children could see the emperor was naked, and they wanted to laugh, but they didn't want to seem rude. But all the grown-ups were too ashamed to admit that they couldn't see the suit. It's wonderful, they all agreed. The very best. We are so lucky to have such a smart emperor. At last the conservatives, the children, could bear it no longer, and they all burst out laughing. Look, they shouted, the emperor has no clothes. He's as naked as the day he was born. The emperor was startled and then horrified, and one by one, all the grown-ups started to laugh. It's really true, they all cried. He has no clothes at all. Maybe he's not so smart after all. The emperor scurried back to the palace as quickly as he could. I've been so foolish, he wailed to his minister. Everyone has seen how stupid I am. How can I be the best emperor in the world now? Your Excellency, answered Mitt Romney, the minister, who you are is more important than how you look. Care for your people, and they will respect you, whatever has happened today. And from that day on, the emperor ruled his empire wisely and looked after his people well. One could only hope. Thank you very much, and you have a great week.